The headlines. NATO warns that Russian troops are heading for eastern Ukraine. We report from the front line, where Ukrainians are preparing for an invasion.
The troops here say they have been fighting a long war against Russian-backed separatists. They know that President Putin may now send more forces.
The US and Europe respond with a series of targeted sanctions and universal criticism of Russia's aggression.
Who in the Lord's name does Putin think gives him the right to declare new so-called countries on territory that belong to his neighbors?
In other news, a US jury finds 3 white men who murdered a black jogger, Ahmaud Arbery, guilty of federal hate crimes.
Ahmaud will continue to rest in peace, but he will now begin to rest in power.
We have a special report from Hong Kong, where the government has ordered compulsory testing for coronavirus. And piecing together the huge wingspan of a giant flying dinosaur, a new discovery suggests they may have been far bigger than we thought. The Queen has cancelled her planned virtual engagements due to mild coronavirus symptoms. Buckingham Palace said she would continue with light duties after testing positive for COVID on Sunday. She's currently isolating at Windsor Castle after testing positive. The women's national football team in the United States has reached a landmark settlement with the sport's American governing body over equal pay. The players will share $22 million in back pay.
The World Health Organization and UNICEF have accused formula baby milk producers of unethical marketing practices. In a new report, they say the aggressive promotion of formula milk is in breach of international commitments to protect breastfeeding. Hong Kong's government has ordered the compulsory testing of all of its 7.5 million citizens as the city battles surging infections there. The government is also launching a controversial vaccine passport on Thursday, which will only allow vaccinated people to go to supermarkets, for example. Every week at this time, we take a look at the climate crisis, bringing you stories with major implications for the planet. And this week on Climate Critical, we focus on our health and how a changing climate is threatening to undo some 50 years of progress against poverty and disease. Now, according to the World Health Organization, climate change is the single biggest health threat facing all of us. Between 2030 and 2050, it's expected to cause 250,000, so 250,000 additional deaths every year from malnutrition, malaria, diarrhea and heat stress. Now, the cost of direct damage to our health is estimated to be between $2 and $4 billion a year. That'll be by 2030. And no surprise, the poorest will be hit first and worst, especially in developing countries, which would be least able to prepare and respond to health emergencies.